This is Gibraltar Today. Tomorrow is World Mental Health Day, and Childline Gibraltar is opening its helplines for 12 hours for the first time in its 19-year history. Goodness me, 19 years already. The extended service is running in collaboration with the Health Authority's Young Minds team and aiming to make support more accessible for children and young people who may be struggling with mental health issues. And we're going to find out more about that from Childline's Chief Executive, Caroline Carter. Good afternoon, Caroline, and good afternoon to the GHA consultant psychiatrist, Dr. Ashim Bettadapura. Lovely to have you guys. So sounds like it's going to be a big day tomorrow.
Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. Thanks for having us on today. What we found at Childline is that 52% of all our calls last year were from children and young people seeking support for mental health needs and issues. And we found that theme for the last 5 years in a row. And that's why we wanted to do something special and unique tomorrow for World Mental Health Day. And we thought, what better opportunity to open our helplines from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. to match the 10th of October.
Nice.
But also to invite and involve the Young Minds team from the GHA and have their expertise live in order for us to better support families, to support children and young people who want to get support, advice, know how to improve their well-being, build their resilience, or get some advice if they're having a crisis, whatever it might be, big or small. We want to be accessible and available, and it's the very first time we're doing it, and we're really excited.
Well, wish you the best of luck. And collaborating, as you say there, with the Health Authority. Dr. Ashim, what role will Young Minds play in the collaboration?
Thanks very much for having me over. We work in partnership with Childline, and we've been doing that for a while now. Mental health difficulties fall across a range, it's a spectrum from the severe, minor end all the way to people with serious and severe mental health difficulties. And there's lots of gray area in between, in between the mild to severe end of the spectrum. And we work with Childline across that spectrum. I think our primary role is with young people with severe and enduring mental health problems or significant emotional behavioral difficulties. But of course, it's really hard to cut off and say where that is. But we hope that through working with Childline, we will prevent lots of relatively minor difficulties from becoming serious, becoming bigger, greater difficulties.
Sometimes people with a little bit of support can improve their mental health.
Absolutely. And also it's a less stigmatizing, more welcoming environment. I think it's not that the Gibraltar Young Minds Service isn't welcoming, but I suppose there is a stigma still in attending mainstream mental health services. And if we can keep young people out of that, or we work with young people through Childline to support them without the label of being within secondary care mental health services, all the better, I think.
Caroline, you said that you referred there to recent years seeing mental health being an increasingly common reason for calls to Childline. What kind of issues are young people raising?
That's a very interesting question, and I wouldn't say there's one specific thing that's highlighted. There's a whole range of things, and some of the things you've been covering even on your show this week, concerns about dyslexia, neurodivergence, it's becoming more aware. So you might think, oh, actually this explains what's going on. I think I need extra support with that, or you're not quite sure. To even, for example, the impact of screen time and smartphones, which we were talking about yesterday, which was really interesting. And there's so many organizations doing so many great things in our community. We can be really proud of that. The talks that are going on with Sue Atkins and GibSAMS, the Department of Education, the dyslexia awareness, the Clubhouse are doing great work. And as a community, I think we need to respond to the different challenges. So young people and families are coming to us with a wide range of things, and that can be minor things, concerns, worries, early anxieties, all the way to the higher end of the spectrum in terms of us with safeguarding, where there is potentially self-harming, suicidal thoughts, suicidal attempts. And each of those types of needs have different response. And that's what the beauty of the Childline Helpline model is. We have a framework that we brought from the Childline UK, and the NSPCC to be able to identify various needs and find a
National
suitable...
Society for the Protection of Children?
That's correct. And so in the UK, Childline UK is owned by the NSPCC, and the framework that we've brought over helps us identify, well, what are the needs of this caller and what is a suitable response, and where we aren't able to provide that support. That's why our collaboration with different statutory bodies like Gibraltar Young Minds comes in excellently, because we're able to say, right, this problem is outside of our ability to support. They need specialist support, and that communication is so important, which is what we wanted to demonstrate.
What sort of pressure, Dr. Ashim, do you think social media is playing, and what sort of role is it playing in the mental health picture of young people in Gibraltar?
It's a really interesting question, and I think we are at a point where social media is there to stay. It's all very well to say that it's a problem, and in fact the Princess of Kent has published an article just today actually about this very topic, looking at the sort of the harms of social media. But that's the reality. Young people are on social media, and that's not going to go away in a hurry. I think historically, say if there was bullying or if there were difficulties outside home, you'd come home and home was safe. But today, no, because you have phones with you, the bullying, the problems continue into your house with you. And young people are much more likely to believe somebody who's their age or they think is their age from across the world rather than grown-ups or adults that's next to them. I think both of these things are really concerning. Further, there's a growing incidence of neurodiversity, people who struggle to communicate effectively. And for them, social media is both a useful thing and a difficult thing. They can communicate on social media much better than they can in person. But that means that's further taken away from their skills to communicate face-to-face in real time, which ultimately is fundamental to communication itself.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no substitute for that. None. And socialization is a very important part of what it means to feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Before we let you guys go, if somebody is listening to this and feels that they need to speak to Childline, Caroline, can you remind us the helpline numbers?
So if anyone wants to reach out today, they can use any of our 6 ways to contact Childline and Teenline. On a free phone, it's 8008 or 8009. We have the 2 WhatsApp numbers, and we've got an email if you prefer to express yourself on an email and write it all out. It's 8008@childline.gi. And you can go onto our website, childline.gi, and use live chat. For the first time, we're opening during the daytime from 10 a.m. And that might allow some parents, some adults to reach out for support, because what you're saying about connection, children don't live this life in a vacuum. They need the support of adults, parents, carers, aunts and uncles. And so we want to encourage and empower adults to reach out with their young person. We're not here instead of, we're here as well as, we're your ally, your tool, and use us. And sometimes young people struggle to clearly articulate what's going on, and an adult can help facilitate that conversation. And then after the contact ends, you've then got that joint support of, oh, this is a new way forward, let's do this together. And I think having that support network makes you far more resilient to deal with whatever challenges you might have. And so I want to encourage adults to call with their child, or if they're worried about a child or young person, reach out on their behalf and take it from there. But apart from tomorrow, we're still open every single day, 5 to 9.
That's a really important point, actually, to make sure that people understand that Childline is there to help children, but can speak to their extended family and support network generally to see how together that child can be best
That's right.
supported and helped. Well, we wish you every success tomorrow and beyond. Thank you so much for joining us, Childline CEO Caroline Carter, and thank you, GHA consultant psychiatrist Dr. Ashim Bettadapura of Young Minds.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.